Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors regular board meeting to order. And all members are present. And we're going to adjourn to closed session. Public employee dismissal, release, retirement, Government Code 54597. And conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, paragraph 1 of subdivision D of section 54956.9, name of case, City of Chino, v. CDCR San Bernardino Superior Court, case number CIVDS 1917019. February 12th, and it is now 6 p.m., and we are going to reopen to open session. And would legal counsel please report out of closed session?
Yes, President and board members and members of the public, the board met in closed session to discuss the two items that are listed on the agenda. With regard to the first item, the board did take action and voted 5-0 with regard to a retirement of a fire captain. Otherwise, there was no reportable action.
Thank you. Please, would everyone please silence their phones? And I would like to remind the public that we will be video recording the entirety of this board meeting. And now, if you would all rise and join me in saluting our flag, and then remain standing as Keith Roby, Fire District Chaplain, leads us in the invocation. If you join me, ready to begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, God of all creation, I ask for your presence and wisdom at this board meeting tonight. Guide our board of directors in the conversations and decisions they make, and give them wisdom to make decisions that would glorify your name. I pray for your continued protection for our fire district and the cities we serve, and I ask for your healing, comfort, and strength for those who are sick or injured. I thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. Thank you for the privilege and honor to serve our fire district and the cities of Chino and Chino Hills. We pray this in your precious name. Amen.
Thank you. All right. Are there any changes to the agenda?
We have no changes.
Thank you.
First item, presentation and announcements, Proclamation, American Heart Month.
All right. Whereas heart disease is responsible for 1 out of every 3 deaths in the United States, and while progress has been significant in reducing deaths, it is still the #1 killer of both women and men in the nation, with direct and indirect costs to the U.S., estimated to be $316.6 million. And whereas about 801,000 people in the U.S. die each year from heart disease, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases, and whereas about 80% of cardiovascular disease may be prevented through everyday healthy living steps, including physical activity, good nutrition, not smoking, maintaining healthy weight, and controlling blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood glucose levels. And whereas the American Heart Association encourages citizens to help save lives by calling 911 if symptoms occur, become trained in CPR, and promote comprehensive automated external defibrillators, or AED, programs in their communities. And whereas February is nationally proclaimed as American Heart Month, and the American Heart Association is celebrating American Heart Month by promoting education and awareness by encouraging citizens to learn the warning signs of heart attack and stroke. And whereas every second counts when someone suffers an out-of-hospital sudden cardiac arrest. And whereas sudden cardiac arrest is a condition in which the heart suddenly and unexpectedly stops beating. Sudden cardiac arrest usually causes death if it is not treated within minutes. And whereas the Chino Valley Fire District has developed a cardiac care program and has partnered with the Chino Valley Fire Foundation in an effort to increase survivability from sudden cardiac arrest by making AEDs readily accessible in public places. And whereas the Heart Safe Community and Cardiac Care Program are designed to increase survivability from sudden out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, the intent is to strengthen the chain of survival as described by the American Heart Association by recognizing and stimulating efforts by individual communities to improve their system to prevent sudden cardiac arrest from becoming irreversible death. And whereas the Chino Valley Fire District, along with local government agencies, are partnering and prepared to assist our communities to reach heart-safe status. And now therefore be it proclaimed that the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors proclaims February 2020 as American Heart Month.
Public communications. This is the time and place for the general public to address the Board of Directors about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. The public may address items on the agenda at the time addressed by the board. Due to board policy and Brown Act requirements, action may not be taken on any issue not on the agenda. When you address the board, please come up to the podium, state your name and address prior to making your remarks. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Do we have any requests to speak? Seeing none, liaison reports. Suzette Dang, San Bernardino County, 4th District.
Good evening, President Ruth, board members, staff, and audience members. Suzette Deng with County Supervisor Kurt Hagman's office. I do have one announcement. In honor of National Consumer Protection Week, San Bernardino County Supervisor Kurt Hagman, in partnership with the City of Montclair and the Montclair Chamber of Commerce, will be hosting a free document sharing event. It's coming up Saturday, February 29th, between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., or until truck becomes full. So we suggest that everyone show up a little early. Last time we had an event, we had to shut down a little sooner because the truck was filled up. So that is one advice, and we do ask that you limit to 5 standard-sized boxes. And that is it. Thank you, and yes. Sorry, it's going to be at the City Hall parking lot, located at 5111 Benito Street, and I will have the flyers out in the back as well. Thank you. And then one last thing, congratulations to all our honorees for your badge pinning ceremony. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor Art Bennett from the City of Chino Hills is here with us this evening, but he did, thank you. Chairman Charlie Blank, Fire Safe Council. Thank you. Consent calendar.
All right. Would any of the board members have anything to pull from the consent calendar for discussion?
Move to approve.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Not yet.
A little too fast.
First, is there any public comment? All right, seeing none.
Now can I do it?
Yes.
Okay. Move to approve.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That's approved, 5-0. Thank you.
Old business, none. New business. Item number 9, ordinance number 2020-01, increasing the compensation of the Board of Directors. Purpose is to review a proposed increase in the compensation of the Board of Directors and to provide for public comment and conduct a first reading introduction of ordinance number 2020-01.
Okay, is there any public comments?
President Luth,
I'm sorry?
if I may present the report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Put more on pause.
Yeah.
President Luth, members of the board, the Fire District Policy and Procedures for Board Directors calls for review and consideration of board member compensation at the beginning of each even year to determine if any adjustments are appropriate. Board member compensation is currently set at $157.50 per meeting. Current law permits an increase of 5% per year for each calendar year following the effective date of the last adjustment. However, at the January 8th regular board meeting, the majority of the board voted to adopt an ordinance to increase board compensation by 2.5% for each calendar year following the effective date of the last adjustment, rounded to a new total compensation amount of $165 per meeting. Ordinance number 2020-01 reflects a $7.50 increase to the $157.50, rounding the new amount to $165 per meeting. If the ordinance is adopted, the maximum number of compensable meetings will remain at 10 days at 10 days or meetings per month, and only 1 per diem per day will be paid regardless of how many meetings are attended. The effective date of the ordinance will be July 1st, 2020, and the proposed schedule is as follows. This evening would be the first reading. The regular meeting in March would be the second reading, public hearing and adoption, and the ordinance would then be effective on July 1st, 2020. It is recommended that the Board of Directors approve the proposed increase. If approved, it is recommended that the Board of Directors conduct a first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2020-01, increasing the compensation of the Board of Directors effective July 1st, 2020. Approve waiving the reading of the entire ordinance number 2020-01, and read the ordinance by number and title only. Advise the public that a complete copy of the ordinance number 2020-01 is available for public inspection at Fire District Headquarters, and set a public hearing date for March 11th for the second reading and adoption of ordinance 2020-01, and direct staff to provide public notice as required by law.
Thank you. All right, now, any public comment? Seeing none. Any comments from the board?
My only comment is, I think we beat this one to a dead horse last meeting, so I move to approve.
All right, have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All right, so motion passes 4-1 with the no from Director DeMonico.
Okay, at this time, I will read the ordinance by title and number. Ordinance number 2020-01, an ordinance of the Board of Directors of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District, County of San Bernardino, State of California, increasing the compensation of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District Board of Directors. Item number 10, California Special Districts call for nomination for Board of Directors, seat B vacancy. Purpose is for the Board of Directors to review and discuss the CSDA call for nominations for a seat on the CSDA Board and determine fire district participation, and consider approving resolution number 2020-02, nominating a candidate for a vacant position on the CSDA Board of Directors, Southern Network, seat B. President Luth, members of the board, CSDA is currently accepting nominations for a CSDA Director vacant seat for the Southern Network due to a vacancy. So this seat will be filled by appointment for the remainder of the 2022 term. So it's filling up a short-term vacancy. The fire district is eligible to nominate one person, such as a fire district board member or management employee, for nomination as a CSDA director. If the fire district board director elects to submit a nomination, a copy of the fire district's resolution, which is before you, and a candidate information sheet must be submitted to CSDA by March 6th. The CSDA Southern Network will conduct interviews of candidates that submit nominations on the week of March 9th through the 13th. A board appointment recommendation will then be submitted to CSDA Board of Directors for consideration by the full board. The newly appointed board member will take their seat April 1st, 2020, and that'll be for a 2-year term. So it is recommended the Board of Directors review and discuss the CSDA call for nominations for a vacant seat, and by approving Resolution 2020-02, nominating a candidate for the vacant position on the CSDA Board of Directors, Southern Network Seat B, or decline to participate.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Seeing none. Is there any comment from any of the board?
I'd like to comment. Sure. I think it would be great if we have the resource available, with schedules from either one of us board members or even a member of staff, Sandra. No, I'm teasing. I would really like us to maybe put in for this position if possible, but I know, schedules and workloads, et cetera, play a big factor. The commitment, it says it's 5 times a year, but there's also a lot of extra stuff that goes into that as well, which I recognize. Mm-hmm. So, JD, how do you?
No,
I
agree.
feel that you'd be great.
I would like to see somebody volunteer for that. I'm not going to do that.
No?
No.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought JD, personally was going to be my recommendation.
No, I respectfully decline. I appreciate the support, but I do respectfully decline.
Okay, all right. So,
No.
no. So, Chief, I'm going to ask you, do you feel it's something that, or someone from staff, we do have some time before we have to.
Well, I'll volunteer
Right,
to do
we'll
it.
do that, so.
How's that sound, Sarah?
Well,
What do you think?
I think he's starting the motion, is that?
I'm guessing. So are you putting your name out there, making a motion for your name?
Well, sure, yes, that's what
Okay.
I'd like to do.
Okay,
I'd like to volunteer.
all right.
Represent our fire district in the seat here.
Okay. Do you want to finish your comments?
Well, I want to make sure that he has a clear understanding of being a board member, of what, you understand as a board member what is going to be required, Director Williams? There's a lot that goes into the CSDA board.
Well, I understand that, and I would be happy to do it. You said 5 times a year, and
No, that's just commitments of going to Sacramento over 2 years, and then there's other criterias that, there's a lot of side meetings and different stuff that's required for that. It's a pretty, it's a pretty, I want to say, extensive commitment from somebody, that takes it's going to take a lot.
have we had members do this before?
We've had people on subcommittees, not
Yes.
on the actual board.
Not on the board. We haven't really had I don't think we've really tried either. There hasn't been a vacancy like this where we can do it.
Because I don't want to go in there half-cocked or anything like that. I'd like to have all the information I can before I actually volunteer or anything.
Yeah, I'd like to strongly suggest that you, maybe even reach out to a board member to see right now, because it's a pretty,
One of these board members that's already on there, or one of,
one of the CSDA board members might be able to provide you with, there's quite a bit that goes into this. Because the California Special District Association, you're actually serving on their board. So you're serving on their board, and everything like we do here for the fire district, you'll have in addition to.
think
And
I can get along with them okay?
I'm sure you could. I don't think getting along with somebody is as much a concern as you don't know a lot about California Special Districts Association, and I feel that learning curve for you might be a challenge. Maybe doing some research about it first, so.
Okay, well, I think you're right. I think under the circumstances, I don't want to go in there not knowing what I'm getting myself into. And I would like to maybe reach out, and when do we have to have this in by?
Is it the 6th, Sandra?
Yes, an approved resolution is due on March 6th.
So we have to
Have to vote tonight.
vote tonight.
That's correct.
So
That's for this one, but there's a different one further on, down.
That's correct. Item number 10 is for an election. So this item is for appointment for
Yes.
a
Right.
two-year term.
Two-year term.
The next item is for an election, to participate in an election for a 3-year term.
Right. So that might be
Yeah.
something where I give you more time to look at it. but-
Yeah, I think under the circumstances, I'm going to withdraw on that. But I better find out more about what I'm doing here.
Okay.
So can I just ask the chief really quick, President Luke, just
Yep.
if you feel it's something that I know workload's better. I'm already judging by the look on your face that it's probably going to be a bit much for us to throw our hat into the ring this time.
Yes.
Okay.
As
fair.
much as I would love to say yes or volunteer one of our staff members, and I think they would do well in that, based on current workloads and some of the commitments that our staff has already, I think it would be problematic for us at this point to take
Okay.
this on.
Thank you for your honesty on that. Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to ask Leo, so do we need a motion to decline, or we just?
Nope, you don't need to take
Okay.
any action.
All right, thank you.
place here. Okay, item number 11, CSDA call for nominations for Board of Directors seat C election. Purpose is for the Board of Directors to review and discuss the CSDA call for nominations for a seat on the CSDA Board and determine fire district participation. And as I mentioned, item number 10 was for an election. This item is requesting nominations for an upcoming election for a 3-year term expiring in 2023. The incumbent is Arlene Schaefer from Costa Mesa Sanitary District, and she has expressed an interest to run for reelection. If the board directors decide to submit a nomination, the minute order is due March 26th, so there's more time on that one.
Okay.
All qualified nominees received by CSDA will be placed on an election ballot, and the election ballots are now electronic, and they'll start accepting votes on May 25th. All votes must be received through the system no later than July the 10th. It is recommended that the Board of Directors review and discuss the California Special District's call for nomination for a seat on the CSDA Board and either vote to submit a nomination or decline to participate.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none. Any board comments?
I do, as always. Arlene has been serving us for quite some time, and I personally feel she's been doing a great job for us. She's open to talk anytime, and she works really hard. John, I know you know Arlene as well,
I
so.
know her very, very well, and I agree. I think she's done a great job on the board of directors of CSDA, and I support keeping her there, so.
If times were different, if I had the capacity, I'd be interested in down the road in the future.
Me as well, yeah.
But not right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So again, no action required. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 12, LAFCO nomination for the position of regular special district member. Purpose is for the board of directors to review and discuss the option of nominating a fire district board member as a candidate for the position of LAFCO regular special district member. President Luth, members of the board, the fire district has received a letter from LAFCO officially opening their nomination period for a regular special district member. The term of this office will expire in May of this year, and it's for a 4-year term. LAFCO is requiring letters of interest to be received by March 19th. If the board of directors would like to submit a candidate nomination, it must be done by official board action. If LAFCO receives only one candidate nomination for a position, that sole candidate shall be deemed selected with no further vote required. If more than one candidate nomination is received for the position, a mail ballot will be sent out to all participating agencies. Kimberly Cox is the incumbent, and she has expressed a desire to run for re-election. A copy of the policy and procedures is attached for your information, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. The recommendation is for the board of directors to review and discuss the option of nominating a fire district board member as candidate for the current LAFCO regular special district vacancy and take action accordingly or decline to participate.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Seeing none. Any board comment?
I do, but
Go ahead,
wait.
Sarah.
No, I'll wait. Go ahead, you guys
No,
go.
Kimberly's been on our representative for LAFCO for quite a while, and she's done a tremendous job supporting us in our concerns and items with LAFCO, and I think she's a great person to have on there, so I support Kimberly.
I agree. I support Kimberly as well.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none. So sounds like, again, no action required. Okay. Thank you. All right. So we're moving on to fire chief's comments.
President Luth, members of the board, good evening. Under personnel development activities, in January, Inspector Jim Powerley was asked to serve as the chairperson on the membership committee for the California Conference of Arson Investigators. Jim is excited to take on this new role. On January 16th, several staff members attended a half-day training presented by LCW entitled Public Service, Understanding the Roles and Responsibilities of Public Employees. Deputy Fire Marshal Austin Ott attended a training session regarding how to supervise bad attitudes and negative behaviors, and that's just in case that ever happened here. Austin's well prepared for that. That took place on January 29th. Human Resources Director Christy Couchoir attended the LCW Legal Conference in late January. The focus this year was on the many new laws exclusive to California that impact public employers in 2020. Under Board Activities and Public Relations, several Fire District employees participated in the Russ Miller Memorial 5K Run and Community Walk, which was held on February 1st. Several board members attended the 2020 State of the County Regional Business Summit in Ontario on February 5th. On February 7th, I attended the 7th Annual Public Safety Legislative Roundtable hosted by Assemblymember Rodriguez. Deputy Chief Dave Williams and I will be participating in Student Government Day on February 13th. Under organizational items of interest, in 2019, Fire District personnel responded to 12,993 incidents, which equates to 26,752 unit responses. The demand for service was about a 5.92% increase over the previous year. This one is timely as we are celebrating American Heart Month. On the 20th of January, personnel responded to a sudden cardiac arrest victim at Canyon Hills Junior High in Chino Hills. They arrived, the principal, who was at the council meeting last night, Mr. Finkbarner, was performing CPR on one of his staff members. Our personnel took over care, transported the patient, and she had a very successful outcome. I spoke to Principal Finkbarner last night. She's been discharged from the hospital and will be returning to work next week. So I did indicate to him that we would like to bring him to a board meeting to recognize him for his actions, and he had a direct role in ensuring that she survived and actually had an outstanding outcome with this. Under upcoming events, the district's administration office will be closed on February 17th in observance of President's Day. Several board members and staff will be attending the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on February 19th at 7 a.m. at Los Serranos Country Club. A special board workshop is scheduled for February 19th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Fire Station 62, located at 5551 Butterfield Ranch Road in Chino Hills. A Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for February 24th at 8 a.m. at administrative offices. The monthly ASB-CSD meeting will take place on February 24th at 6 p.m. at Sierra Lakes Golf Course in Fontana. A quarterly meeting of the Section 115 Trust Investment Committee will take place on February 25th here at administration. The Fire District's quarterly meeting with the City of Chino is scheduled for February 26th at 4 p.m. at Chino City Hall. The Salute to Public Safety is scheduled for March 19th at Los Serranos Country Club. And the SDRMA Annual Membership Education Day will be held on March 24th in Sacramento, California. And that concludes my comments for this evening.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll have board comments. We'll start with Director Krieger.
I have no comments tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Director Williams.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to offer my condolences to our president.
Thank you.
His mother passed away here recently, and I'm very sorry about that.
Thank you.
And other than that, I think that's about all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Director DeMonico.
Yes, I've got quite a few comments here, but I'm going to keep it brief. Did attend a number of meetings this month, but I want to focus on the ConFire meeting. We had a Board of Directors ConFire meeting this morning, and just wanted to give a quick update on a couple of things that are going on with Communications Center. And I'll limit it to two of them, but one is the Next Generation 911, and it's something to keep an eye on. It's a state replacement project of the 911 system, and so keep in mind it's a state project, but there's a lot coming our way and what's going to happen with that. We already can text 911, although that may offer a few difficulties here and there to different places, but I believe ConFire was one of the first places to accept 911 texts. But what's going to happen with the Next Generation 911 is that people that are on scene will be able to send pictures of what they're seeing, if it's a traffic accident or fire, and they'll get real-time pictures, real-time video. It's really coming into the age of smartphones and everything else, so it's probably going to take a couple of years before we see a lot of these things, but keep an eye on it because it's coming, and it's really exciting to have that. And the other project I want to talk about was the CAD-to-CAD project that ConFire is entering into with a number of other communication agencies, including some in Riverside County. And what that is, CAD is computer-aided dispatch. And this is going to allow the dispatch centers to talk to each other electronically. And what that will do is that will decrease dispatch time so that we get units out on the street a lot faster. So it's going to be electronic communications, and just by pushing buttons and doing different things, units will be dispatched without one dispatcher having to call another dispatcher in another agency and requesting equipment. It's all going to be automated and done through CAD. But I just wanted to mention those two things because those are pretty significant and pretty exciting where we're heading with those, because it's going to mean a lot to how we do business on the dispatch end of what we do. And I'll go ahead and close my comments with that. And happy Valentine's Day.
All right, Vice President Ramos-Sevinger.
Okay, thank you. I attended a couple of Chino Hills meetings. I had a Finance Committee meeting, a CSD member and professional services meeting, and we have all of the trainings for the rest of the year. I know that we've already been notified of some, but just want to let everyone know, reminder that we have our CSDA annual conference, August 24th through 27th in Palm Desert, and that's always a great. It's going to be hot right in the middle, but they said once we go in, that we don't have to leave the facility. Everything is right there. So and we canceled the golf tournament because it might be a little too warm to golf in August. And we do have 2 special leadership academies scheduled. One's in April and the other one is in September. And if anyone wants information, I'll provide this to Sandra, this document, and then she can pass it on to everybody. There's also some, Sandra, for, we have the Leadership Summit, and we also have the Board Secretary Clerk Conference on here as well. And then something that we went over is that just a 2019 snapshot for California Special Districts. And this is of our member services, the committee that I'm on. So we had 70 new members, new special districts join in 2019. We work really hard at that, and we have to call, and if someone hasn't paid, we kind of there's a lot that we do on the back end that people don't realize. We get member resources. We have a lot of business affiliates. We did lose some business affiliates this year, but we're working on trying to get more. And right now, we have, there was over 12,000 plus workshops, webinars. There's a lot going on. People that were educated for that. They visited 755 districts last year of all of the groups. So they're going around and they're trying to do that. And I have this fun little thing on how many bills we supported, how many bills we opposed, and what we did, and I'll get a copy to everyone as well for that. And then just a reminder of my last push, the mayor's prayer breakfast is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 19th, at 7 a.m. at Los Serranos Golf Club. There are still some tickets available. I know the district's going, I know a lot of people in this room, but if you have any friends or anyone interested, if you can please you can even contact me and I'll give them the information, but they can go to cvmayorsbreakfast.com. And I want to thank both the Mayor Bennett and Mayor Ulloa for being, participating and really pushing this forward for our community. So we appreciate that. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Attended couple Chino council meetings. Had the privilege of attending Steve's president installation first meeting as president of CSMFO, and a nice thing for Steve, a great recognition of Steve and his abilities, and I think just a very nice thing for the district that you have gotten into that position and represent us so well there. On the 6th was the badge pinning. That was a great event. Enjoyed that a lot. And then last month, the Chino Hills Military Memorial, what a nice event. I had the privilege of representing the district there. It was such a nice event, so well done, so appropriate, and what a wonderful way to honor the vets and those who are serving today. So thank you to everybody that was involved in that. It it was a wow when they revealed it. It was really nice, so enjoyed that a lot. And with that, we're going to adjourn to the regular meeting of the Board of Directors, Chino Valley Independent Fire District, to be held Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, at 6 p.m. at District Headquarters located at 14011 City Center Drive, Chino Hills, California, 91709.
Harvey, thank you for those comments on the